putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show, KJRadio.com, where we are pro-Trump. I'm not pro-everything Trump does. His new tax plan, I think Ted Cruz is right. I think Donald Trump's tax plan cannot penalize the states, with their tax base, in the sense that if you live in a state that has a tax, you can't deduct that. Now, I get why he's doing it. He's saying, no, states should not have a state income tax. I completely agree. But what Donald Trump needs to do is let the market run its course. If you live in a state that has a state income tax and you can only deduct it, I think, up to $10,000, meaning your home mortgage and all the other I shouldn't say home mortgage, your state income taxes. I was getting something convoluted there. Your state income tax, you can only deduct up to $10,000 if I'm not mistaken. But you might have state income taxes of $30,000. I don't know what the limit might be. So you can't deduct that $20,000. So you're getting hit. That part looks like income. But what it would do is it would incentivize states not to do that, because the states that don't have state income taxes, like Texas, for example, would benefit. Now, the problem is it could, and it you got to let the market play itself out, but it could shift a lot of you would think it'll shift even more conservatives out of those states and into the other states. But let's face it, Texas needs fewer Californians and a lot more, free-thinking, say, Nevadans moving there. It needs more people escaping oppression in order to build its numbers back and make sure that it is solidly a red state, because Texas is under fire. If you haven't noticed, all of the former red states are under fire, but you don't see any dent in California. You don't see a dent in Massachusetts. You don't see a dent in New York, and so on and so forth. So maybe this is a way to do that. Or maybe it's a way to concede those states as leftist, tax and spend states, and then everybody else moves out and let the leftists have their thing. So I get both sides of the story. But my point is this. I don't agree lockstep with Donald Trump, and neither does Ted Cruz, and neither do many of you. But what I do know is what he's proposing is heads and shoulders better than anything Barack Obama does. And as I was saying earlier to these never Trumpers, despite proof, folks, in many instances, getting rid of Obamacare, that is a good thing. It is inspiring this economy to do more. Adjusting the tax base, particularly for business, is creating a business environment that has lowered the unemployment rate to levels we hadn't seen in a long time. Consumer confidence through the roof. And I could go on. As far as I'm concerned, if you're a never Trumper, you are an Obama lover. After 8 years of Obama, Trump's election was immediate fresh air. He lived up to almost every promise that he made during the campaign, but the complaint of the boneheads is he doesn't act presidential. Oh, I don't give a crap. So what? He doesn't act presidential. He performs presidential. Unlike Barack Obama, who acted presidential, Barack Obama didn't know how to perform presidential. Great. He put on a suit. He looked around, looked sophisticated, said all the right thing. Yeah, we're going to do something over here that's a little bit crazy, then we're going to be crazy over here. And everybody's going to love me because I'm black president. Yeah, there you go. And leftists, oh my gosh, he's amazing. Yeah, he's so amazing that everything that Donald Trump is fixing was the remnants of Barack Obama, and hardly a peep out of any of these morons. Instead, they attack. Let me tell you, there's this thing called the Trump Jinx that I've been talking about. And if you mess with Donald Trump, it doesn't go well. It seems that most of the anti-Trumpers find their fortunes lessened along with their career prospects. And a good example, and I know we've been using this guy a lot as a whipping boy, but it's true. Harvey Weinstein. I mean, look at what happened to this guy. His career is, as he knew it, is over. The very thing that the left tried to tie around the neck of then presidential candidate Donald Trump boomeranged to bite Weinstein in his big Jewish butt cheeks. And, Donald Trump he reached over to talked about grabbing women by the butt. Donald Trump said truth. You may not like that truth, but the fact of the matter is, folks, look, let me tell you something. I've been around enough athletes and entertainers and have had my stint in being a little bigger than the norm. And I'm going to tell you something. Donald Trump didn't lie when he said there are women who will let you do anything to them just to be in your presence. Now, I'm going to tell you, my little career in the martial arts and other things, nothing in comparison to what I've seen with my own eyes with my professional basketball, my professional football friends, my professional track buddies, and my professional fighter buddies, and of this day. There is nothing you can tell me about women that would shock me with respect to these people. Nothing. So Donald Trump's comments were benign in comparison. It's unbelievable. But so what's interesting is how it's biting Hollywood. It's biting Louis C.K. Louis C.K. hasn't helped Hollywood or women. We called him a sexual predator in feminist skin. He got a lot of attention from feminists for his pro-women stance in his comedy material. I mentioned this earlier. He sought to tackle the difficult subjects like rape and violence towards women in his stand-up act. And as I said, it did nothing except to provide cover for what Louis C.K. was doing. Don't be surprised to learn that Weinstein was donating to a bunch of women's organizations, to help battered women and women of rape and women of whatever. Because that's what they do. They will show you, unlike us, where we say, oh, my sister was a victim or my mother was a victim and we donate. These guys donate to appease their guilt. That's why Kevin, I don't understand why you don't want our help. We're trying to help black people because I don't want your hurt that goes with it. Louis C.K. in his HBO special, he said, how do women still go out with guys when you consider the fact there's no greater threat to women than men? We're the number one threat to women. Globally and historically, we're the number one cause of injury and mayhem to women. We're the worst thing that ever happens to them. What a beautiful thing to say. To let the feminist propaganda let them buy into this nonsense. Yeah, what a great thing to say. So wouldn't it be a thing to say, when men have been the victims of treachery, it's generally women that do it. It's generally the women that are close to them, like Samson. Delilah, what did she do to Samson? She cut off his locks of hair. CK didn't care about women. He abused women. And what he did is he showed that the vagina heads have zero credibility, Ashley Judd and many others, that allowed the Weinsteins and the CKs, the Louis CKs, to have their way with them, sacrifice many subsequent women on the altar of the casting couch. And ironically, the credibility of the women's movement is still higher than that of the media. They attacked Trump with fake news. But instead of running, President Trump called him out on it. Now, all the so-called media outlets are considered fake news and they're bleeding red ink. Without bonehead billionaires like Jeff Bezos popping up, for example, the Washington Post, these guys would be deader than disco. And what about the NFL? I'm talking about the Trump jinx right now, folks. For those of you who are wondering, listening to the Kevin Jackson Show. Week after week, the NFL ratings drop. Biggest drops occurred after the president called the league out for letting players take a knee. And so the Trump jinx ran roughshod over the league. But the NFL isn't alone. ESPN moved from sports to social justice years ago, and the Trump jinx hit them as well. Breitbart reported that ESPN had lost 15,000 subscribers a day in October. And for those of you doing the math, that's 480,000 subscribers for the month. Now, you better know there's some frowns on the faces of those ESPN executives. 15,000 subscribers per day. So what are the results? Layoffs. While President Trump is revitalizing most of American industry, he can't save some companies from themselves. So Sports Illustrated reported that ESPN's got a massive layoff planned. Yeah, they were briefed on these plans, and they're saying it's going to hit ESPN's front-facing talent on the television side, producers, executives, digital and technology staffers. Multiple ESPN employees said that it's tense around there. They asked, how are the people feeling? And they said they're feeling queasy. So like Hollywood and the media, ESPN is going to figure out that the Trump's jinx is real because it is the representative feelings of the American people. This isn't about Trump. This is for them to get their acts together.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.